Hi friends. Hi. Today I wanted to play a little and explore the idea of sinking and floating. And I have some objects from around my house and some toys, and I thought we can explore together and look at sinking and floating. Now I have a lot of different objects here. I have some objects I found in nature, like these rocks and this leaf. And I found some things around my house, like these bobby pins that I use to style my hair, and these paper clips that I use when I do office work. And I found some fun items that I just use around when I'm playing, like this. I'm not even sure what this is, but it's a lot of fun. And I have this is fun to explore, and I was wondering if this sinks or floats because the little balls inside look like they're floating already. So this would be interesting to see if it sinks or floats. I have some toys, like my frogs. I have some frogs here. I have a green one, and a blue one, and an orange one, and a purple one. And in nature, even though we see mostly green frogs, there are a lot of different colors of frogs in nature. So I really like these frogs. These are a fun toy. And then I also have some ducks, and my duck is yellow with an orange beak. And so those are some toys that I have. And I have an Easter egg left over from a little while ago. And I have a ball. Now tell me, when I bounce this ball, does it sound like as if there is stuff inside, or does it sound like it's hollow, like there's nothing inside? Here, let me bounce it. Did you say that there is nothing inside, that it's hollow? It's hollow. There is nothing inside. That's why it's able to bounce like that and make that noise. So this is hollow. And then the egg is also hollow. Here, I'll open it up. There's nothing inside. I can put my finger in. See? There's nothing inside. It's empty. It's hollow. That's what hollow means. So there, I have the egg. I also have some paper cups, and I'm wondering if these will float or if they will sink. So let me show you some pictures, which also got me to thinking about things that float and sink. Now think, have you ever gone into the ocean or gone into a pool? Did you ever jump into the pool? When you jumped into the pool, did you just stand on the water, or did you actually go into the water? So let me ask you, here I have a jar full of water. When you jumped into the pool, were you standing on top like this, or did your whole body go in like this? When I jump into a pool, my whole body goes in. And then I'm able to float, but a lot of my body is in the water. Now I saw a picture, and I'm going to show you a picture, and it shows people standing on the water, but they use a special item. Let me show you. Here, this looks like a whole family, and this is a paddle board They're standing on a paddle board. It almost looks like a surfboard, but this is meant to stand on, and you use a paddle, this thing here, a paddle, to move you around. I have another picture, and here you can see more of the paddle boat. It looks really flat, and the person is standing, and there is the paddle. That's the paddle, and that's the paddle board, and the person is standing up. And I wanted to show you this other picture so you can see how flat the paddle board is. Here is a child, and he's sitting on the paddle board, and you see it's really flat. So it's interesting, for a paddle board to work, it needs to be flat and it needs to be wide. So the paddle board, it's flat. You can see how flat it is there. And you can see here how wide it is. See how much room that person has to stand? It's very wide. And so I want to experiment and see if we can do this with our water. So I got here a very interesting bowl. And the bowl, it's actually not a bowl, it's a lid. See, there's a handle there. So that's why I'm having it sit here. But I like this because you can see through it, and I think you can see a lot of what I'm going to do right now. So I am going to pour some water into the bowl. Here we go, pouring some water into the bowl. Okay, there's some water in the bowl. I think we might need some more water. Do you think we need more water? I would like some more water. Okay, let's pour some more water into the bowl. There we go. There. Now we have more water in the bowl. Now let's start with something that I think it feels very heavy. Let's see, let's try this one. It feels very heavy, and when I tap on it, it does not sound hollow. It sounds like it's very dense. Dense is where there is a lot of material in between these two sides. It's very dense. So let's see, does this sink or does this float? Okay, here I go. I'm going to put it in here. Oh, okay. I don't even know if you can see it. It sank, but you can't see it now because of the way the bowl is. Here, let me get my jar, and I'm going to put more water in this jar. Here we go, more water. Here we go, more water. All right, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to take the rock out, but I need to take off my watch because I don't want to ruin my watch in the water. So I'm going to put that there. All right, I'm going to take the rock out. And now I'm going to put it in here and see if you can see it sink in here. Are you ready? There it is. It's on the bottom. That means it sank. Here, I'm going to try this rock too. This rock is also heavy. Let me put it in. It sank. It went all the way to the bottom. It sank. Now, what I want to do is I want to try the leaf. The leaf is very thin. Look how thin it is. And it's very light. It's easy for me to pick up. So let me see. Will the leaf sink or will it float? Here we go. I'm going to put it in here. Can you see? Can you see the leaf? It's floating. It's floating. Do you see the leaf? There we go. Okay, now I'm going to try the paper clips. Now the paper clips, they're very light. They're very light. They're kind of thin. Let's see if the paper clips sink or float. Here we go. They sank. So the paper clips, even though they were light and thin, they did not float. They sank. Huh. They must not be buoyant. Buoyant is when you're able to float. So let's try something else. Let's try something else. Let's try these. These are also light. They're also thin. Let's see, do they sink or do they float? Here we go. They also sink. Okay. Let me get my toy frog. Let's see. Let's try the toy frogs. Now the toy frogs, they are not hollow. They are pretty dense. Now let's see, do they sink or do they float? That one sank. That one sank. Let's try the duck. The duck is also very dense. It's not hollow at all. Not hollow. Let's see if it sinks or if it floats. That also sank. Okay. Now, there is something else I wanted to try. Let me take them out. And let me get the big bowl for this one. And like the people on the paddle board, they were on something thin and they were on something wide. And I also noticed that when I look at nature and I see pictures of lily pads, they float. And I also noticed that sometimes when you look at a lily pad, there is a frog on top of the lily pad. So the frog manages to float on top of the lily pad. Now a lot of frogs can swim, but they can't sit on top of the water. They need the lily pad to sit on top of the water. So I got something that looks to me similar to a lily pad. And it's the top of a Tupperware container. And I am going to put it in my bowl. And that floats. Do you see? It floats. Now I'm going to try to take one of my frogs and I'm going to put it on top of the lid and see if it floats. It floats, just like on the lily pad. Let me try another frog and see if it floats. Wow! So the lily pad floats on top of the water, and then the frogs are able to float on top of the water. I'll put another frog in, and let's see, does this frog, I'm not going to put it on the lily pad, and see what happens. That frog sank. Now I want you to be able to see it, so I'm going to bring the camera over here and show you. So there are two frogs floating, and there is the frog that sank down there. Let me bring the camera over here, and you can see the frog that sank and the two frogs that are floating. Should I try with the duck? Let me try with the duck. Here's the duck. I'm going to put it on the lily pad. And the duck is, oh, the duck was too heavy. It sent down the lily pad. It sent down the Tupperware top. Now they're all on the bottom. Well, that was really interesting. I think I'm going to need to experiment with this more. Sometimes when you have something like a lily pad or a paddle board, you can actually make things float on top of the water, things that wouldn't normally float on top of the water, things that would normally sink. That's really interesting. Well, wow. Well, I think that was a lot of fun. And I think it would be a great idea if you tried to see what floats and what sinks at your house. Make sure that your parents decide what things you can use. You don't want to put something that will get ruined by water. Maybe toys, maybe some items like, oh, like the cup. Let's see if the cup floats. Let's see. The cup floats. Let's see. Something like this won't get ruined by water. The cup floats too. There's more experimenting to be done. There are a lot of things that sink and float. Well, thanks for doing this with me. I hope you have fun with your experiment of sinking and floating. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a good day. Bye.